So we have our last speaker today for today's session is Mr. Randymax Bulaquit, Ph.D., founder and chairman of National Academy for Professional Skills and Development from Philippines. He will be discussing about peace, justice, and strong institutions. So over to you, Mr. Randymax. I hope you can hear me. Yes, yes, I can hear you, but there is a little bit distortion in your voice. Yes, you are audible.
First of all, I'd like to express my gratitude and congratulations to the youth diplomacy forum and all of the organizers including my friends who is Maragma. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you also for giving me the opportunity to share the topic on SDG which is peace, justice, and strong institutions. I know that there is a limited time so let me begin that we can finish on time of the democracy. The the target for the SDG was established and finished
Sorry to interrupt you, Mr. Randymax. Your voice is not clear.
the different methods from private land to private things and then actively decided this for the private and private. So the first target
Mr. Randymax, can you hear me?
these violence may turn into the intentional homicide, particularly in the time of pandemic, when there's every aspect. Another is anti-related death, because the conflict because of some wars arise at different countries and different places, then this, there are a lot of people who are Christian, have children or wives, those who are not, or those who are
Mr. Randymax,
Christian.
can you hear me?
And then another is the violence of all kinds of violence, wherein these targets should be able to recruit physical, mental, and psychological violence, and not in these targets because it's safety, wherein more individuals work, this has a secret opportunity to be safe in the paycheck. So here in the Philippines, we are very proud people that we have connected the safety system to things of the war and the
Yes, yes, Mr. Randymax, can you hear me now? Can you hear me? There is distortion in your voice, so we cannot hear you properly. If you can adjust your mic or something, there is some problem in your voice.
How about that, sir? Can you hear me now?
Yes, yes, now better, now better.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So let me continue. That in the first target, just let me summarize that the first target focused on the intentional homicides, wherein politicians use different or innocent bloods, okay, and then conflict-related deaths, the prevalence of all forms of violence, and public safety. So here, the first target really focused on reducing violence everywhere, whether this is local, whether this is national, and it must also adopted internationally. The next target is the protection of children from abuse, exploitation, trafficking, and violence. So in this target, the United Nations, particularly the SDG goal number 16, focus on ending the abuse, exploitation, trafficking, and all forms of violence against and torture of children, wherein they are being victims of human trafficking and also sexual violence, no, from all forms of either physical or emotional violence. Another target is the promoting the rule of law and ensuring equal access to justice. The United Nations would like to focus here on transparency and accountability, particularly on giving reports on the victims of crimes, the unsentenced detainees, and the promoting the rule of law at the national and international levels. So in this target, it is more on the ensuring equality and justice, meaning to say this must be equal to all, whether what status people do people belong in this in their society. The fourth target is focused on combating organized crime and illicit financial and arm flows. Here in the illicit financial flows and seized or surrendered arms, there are armed groups who are really doing unnecessary things in their area. And in this target, the UN, the United Nations really um, have the goal that they have to elicit these financial flows that are illegal, right? And another is it can be also in the form of the substantially reduce corruption and bribery. In this fifth target, bribery meaning to say those illegal source of funds that are being used in government transactions. Another is the bribery in business. In most of organizations and business corporations, they are really doing or they are really asking for something in exchange of government service. So wherein the United Nations should always ask not to continue or should always ask whether maybe not maybe to stop or to lessen the bribery in the government transactions. Next is the sixth target, focus on developing effective, accountable, and transparent institutions. So here it is more focused on justice, wherein government expenditures within the budget. So government institutions should spend their budget wisely according to the specific or according to what they have in their financial plan, and there should be always a satisfaction with their public services. So meaning to say, in each of the government institutions, there should be an accountability and at the same time transparency in terms of the budget and in terms of their accomplishment. In the seventh target, the United Nations is ensuring responsive, inclusive, and representative decision making, wherein it entails the representation of different people in public institutions, so that there should be an inclusive decision making, practicing the democratic rule of making decisions, that this should be done by a group, that there should be an inclusivity, meaning to say all should be included, whether what culture, what religion, or what background or cultural background that are in the society. So there must be a conclusive or a comprehensive or an inclusive, okay, representations in making decisions. And the eighth target is the developing or the strengthening the participation in global governance. We believe that making or strengthening global partnership will really help our country to become developed. Likewise, particularly in responding to COVID-19, we are really looking forward for a vibrant partnership with our neighboring countries and at the same time in the first world countries. The next third target is the providing universal legal identity. I'm sure that most of nations, including the Philippines, have this birth registration as a requirement to every children that has been born, okay, from day to day. So there is a comprehensive list of children that has been born from or from of every day. Yeah. So there should be a comprehensive list of the list and should be reported accurately. Then the 10th target is the ensuring public access to information and protection of fundamental freedoms. We know that journalism is very powerful in our country. That is why there are some journalists who were killed because of political discrimination or because of what they have been published. So the United Nations now is urging the government, okay, that they have to stop journalists and media killings, and there should be also an equal access to information, wherein government should provide public access to information, particularly to their constituents, for transparency and accountability. Another target is to strengthen national institutions to prevent violence and combat terrorism and crime. Here in the Philippines, we have what we call the NTF-ELCA, wherein it focuses on the Anti-Terrorism Act. And we have also the National Human Rights, wherein I do believe that not only the Philippines but most of the Asian countries right now, and including the other global countries, wherein the human rights, okay, have already strengthened local and international to prevent violence and at the same time to combat crime and terrorism. And for the last target that is specified in this SDG 16 is promoting and enforcing non-discriminatory laws and policies. So here, the United Nations is also urging all government institutions to promote and enforce non-discriminatory laws and policies for sustainable development, wherein there should be a participatory approach and there should be an inclusive and comprehensive approach to address all issues and concerns so that our nation will be able to attain what we call the Sustainable Development Goals by 2030. So that's all my topic for SDG 16, which is focused on peace, justice, and strong institutions. Thank you, sir, for listening. Again, congratulations.
Thank you very much, Randymax Bulaquit, for your presentation, and thank you very much for joining us today. So we end up our first session here today, and we have almost completed our 10 or I think 11 sustainable development goals. Thank you very much to all the speakers who joined us today, and thanks to all the participants as well, the members of Youth Diplomacy Forum and all of the participants from around the world. So we are ending up our session here today. See you tomorrow, and thank you very much. Good luck.
Bye-bye. Thank you. Good night.